What's up everyone, it's Dan, and I'm back for another installment of Drumming Without Drums. I know it's been some time, and it tends to be some time before I post new lessons, but I have been spreading my time pretty thin, but I am looking to get back into this, and I plan to post videos more consistently, so please stay tuned and look for new lessons, and obviously you're doing so because you're watching this lesson. So anyway, what I want to do in a couple of lessons is simply talk about 8th note and 16th notes. Those are both two different types of subdivisions, right? What we're doing is we're subdividing the quarter note into smaller parts, and that's really all drumming is taking the bigger notes, what usually it's a quarter note, and splitting that note into different pieces. And if you can do it kind of effortlessly and seamlessly, and you do it in the right places, then you become a pretty good drummer. And that's what you hear really good drummers doing. You just didn't know about it maybe until you saw my lessons or you started to learn about subdividing the beat. So I'm going to talk about, in this lesson, just 8th notes. So remember, 8th notes divide the quarter note into two pieces, right? We started with 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are your quarter notes, and then we split them into 8th notes, and we counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm going to be talking about how you can apply 8th notes to the kit and play 8th notes between your hands and your feet. Because in the past we've been concentrating on playing 8th notes simply around the kit with our hands, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm going to give you some more tools, because remember what I do here in my lessons is I try to give you the tools to practice stuff on your own, to figure out grooves on your own. I'm not going to go through every little 8th note or 16th note beat that you can create, because there's far too many, and that would be a waste of my time, a waste of your time. So the object with any musical instrument, with anything, when you're learning it, really is to get the tools, know what you're playing, and then get creative with it. So that's what I hope you're doing. I know in the previous lessons we talked about some fills and different ways you can experiment. So I'm going to give you some more tools here. And again, we're going to talk about 8th notes and applying those around the kit. So all I'm going to do is play some alternating 8th notes between my right hand and my right foot. That's a nice little exercise to get you used to playing different subdivisions between your limbs. Okay, so it's just like this: 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I'm going to do the opposite. I'll start with my foot and then play my right hand on all the upbeats or the ands, right? 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Obviously, don't go too fast at first. Focus on keeping the 8th notes as steady as possible. And what you want to do then is kind of experiment with that idea. So I just played with one hand and then with one foot. What you want to do next is try going back and forth between your right and your left hand, but still you're going to be alternating between your hands and your right foot. So let me just demonstrate, right? And again, practice doing this on all the different drums, on the hi-hat, on the snare, just to practice getting around the kit more. Okay, and you could put these notes anywhere. It really doesn't matter. So here we go: 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4 and 1. That's a nice little exercise. And again, you can develop that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play 2 notes, 2 8th notes with my hands, right, left, and then 2 8th notes with my right foot. So it's going to be 1 and, then 2 and, 3 and, then 4 and. And I'll just play this on the snare for now, just so you can get the idea. Ready? 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now that is going to develop into a lot of cool little licks and fills that you can play around the drum set. So take that idea and play that around the kit. The next thing you can do is you can think of all the different ways you can create different 8th note patterns between your hands and your feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the first 8th note with the foot, then I'm going to play 2 with the hands, and then 2 again, but it gives it a different sound. So here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4 and 1. So again, you want to take whatever combinations you can think of, play them at a slow tempo, and develop them around the kit. Now, a really helpful exercise is to basically take your basic rock groove, right? We can play your bass drum on 1 and 3, snare drum on 2 and 4, and then so play one measure, right? 4 beats, 4 full beats of the groove, and then play 4 full beats of experimenting with these different eighth note patterns between your hands and your feet. So let me just demonstrate, and when you're done with that second measure of experimentation, you go back to the groove and you just repeat it, right? So let me just demonstrate. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4 and 1. See, I'm just playing different variations of alternating eighth notes between my hands and my feet on the second measure. Now also, don't forget about space. You don't have to play every eighth note in the measure, and because that kind of sounds a little bit too busy. So sometimes you want to just play like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Right? See how I left the space in there? So don't forget about space. Space is really important. And then what you can do is you can apply this technique to fills. I mean, I'm basically playing a measure of a fill. I'm not playing the groove. I'm playing something that leads up to the next part of the song. That's what a fill is, or builds up to the next part of the song. But you obviously don't want to play such long fills in the context of a song most times. So you can try practicing that little idea I was showing you over 2 beats rather than a full measure. So let me just demonstrate that. I'm going to play essentially a measure and a half of groove, of beat, basic rock groove, and then on measures 3 and 4, I'm going to play a couple variations where I go between my hands and my feet. So just check it out. I mean, the first idea I'm going to play is 1 and, or 3 and 4 and then hit the crash and go back to the beat. So that's the first one, and I'll play a couple for you. So again, just giving you some tools to show you how to practice. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4 and 1. So see what I was doing there? Sometimes I was playing my right hand with my left hand, so it's like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you can really think of whatever you want, but the key part is keep on counting eighth notes, play your eighth notes all over the kit. You can play even, 3 bass drum notes at a time: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Do whatever you want. The whole key here, though, is just to learn how to vary eighth note combinations between your hands and your feet. All right? So practice that. Don't go too fast. Experiment with going really slow. Then you can speed it up. Obviously, you don't want to go too fast so you fall off your stool and it doesn't sound good. But all right, so that's this lesson. In the next lesson, we're going to pretty much do the same thing in the context of 16th notes, and I'll also show you how to go back and forth between these 8th note combinations and the 16th note combinations. So be sure to tune in, and I will see you in that lesson. Thanks a lot.